This is the second part of actually three-part of videos. Yesterday, we started by going through and creating using relay.ai, creating an automation that basically allows us to feed it a really poorly formatted, in terms of English and grammar and spelling, email, and it fires back an email that's nicely reformatted and redone with proper spelling and everything. So that was automated little process using relay.app. Today, what I want to do is basically go through the process of creating these potentially bad English thoughts and comments, but I need an easy way to do that. And so, usually, when we're talking about recording thoughts and different items like that, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. You have all kinds of voice recorders, and you can then share them, and there's different ways to do it. And I'm not going to go through all of that because I'm sure some of them anyway, and different people use different things. So it is what it is. But in my case, I'm going to use my case specifically as the use case. I want to be able to be on the road somewhere. All I have is my phone, and I want to be able to have a very simple way to record some thought or some message. And then later on, I'm going to deal with getting those assembled into a readable form after the fact at some point in time. So that's going to be the subject of the next video. But in this video, I just want to be able to create these things. And so today we're going to discuss the mobile automation. Now, I want to be able to automate the process a little bit to make it easier, but it needs to be done on a mobile phone. So I recorded this little session here, and I'll show you in a second what it looks like. But the idea was to use some sort of app. And in this particular case, I used the app called Automate for Android phones. Again, I don't do Apple, so sorry for all the iPhone users, but I'm sure they probably have something similar for iPhone as well. And so Automate is something you can get from the Play Store, from Google. So let's go ahead, pull up the video, and see how this thing functions. Basically, this is my desktop, and we go to the Play Store and find the program called Automate. And in my case, it's installed, so I'm just going to open it up. Okay, you don't really need to know. This is basically pretty much the second time I used it. So it's a very simple to use, not that bad at all. Not super intuitive, but not bad at all. Comes up with this thing. They have automations, they call them flows. And so then you just click on the plus icon there to create a new flow. And once you click on it, it gives you this one box. They call them blocks. So you have this block. It says flow beginning. And then you can give it a name. So at the top there where it says entitled, you basically click on it. It allows you to change the name to be whatever you want it to be. You can give it some description. Let's give it a description. We'll call it example for video. And basically you can just start building with these blocks. So you click on the plus, and you're able to select from all these different options. They have all these different categories. What you can do, in our case, we're going to be doing messaging because we want to send an email. And I'll explain in a second why I want to do it this way. You click on messaging, and in messaging, you have all these different options. And in this case, we'll select the option called Gmail Send, for example. And so we'll click on Gmail Send. And then it drops the block there. And so at this point, you can click on any of these blocks, or you can connect them together by drawing a line from one to the other. It says edit connection. And then you click on the block itself. It allows you to put in all the parameters for that particular block. In my case, it's an email to send using Gmail. So it's asking who do you want to send it to, who is going to be CC, who's going to be BCC, things like that. What the subject is going to be, what the message is going to be. So basically, think of it as canned email messages you can preset up, and basically have this automation that will send this email to this address with this message and this particular subject. Very useful. Okay. We'll just put a little message in there. Okay, so once you fill all the fields, then you save it and you go back to the flow, and you can actually continue at this point. You can try running it. If you click on the first block, it'll allow you to put in the title for this particular flow. And also, it will allow you to click on this install home screen shortcut, which will allow you to just simply tap on the phone one time to run this automation, which is exactly what you want to be able to do. So I put that in. Don't fill in any other information. You don't need anything else. You can just click on save at this point, title, and then you click on install on the home screen, shortcut, and basically it does it, and pretty much we're done. Once you click on save, if you want it to look like this in terms of shortcut, if you don't like it, you can click on the icon option, and then they give you literally dozens and dozens of icons you can choose from. So I'm just going to scroll here a little bit, and so you can see all these different options that are available. But we'll pick one of them shortly here, just so we have something different than the default. Okay, and so once you pick it, there it is. You can just click OK, and you click on Add to Home Screen, and so it becomes a little widget on your home screen. And so now if we go back, you can see there's the new widget right there. And if I tap it, then it'll send an email. So I tapped it one time and then tapped it another time, even though I didn't have to. But basically, you don't see what it's doing, but it's actually sending an email when you tap it like that. So it's very quick, very cool. And there's my two messages right there. And you can see the subject is the same and the message is the same. And so with just a single tap, that message came. Now, that message has one sentence, but that doesn't mean that it has to be just one sentence. I could have an entire message written with multiple paragraphs, all kinds of stuff in the message, and that's exactly what it would send. If you think about it, if you send a particular message all the time, it's like Gmail canned messages, same kind of concept, but this is even easier. Then you're able to do this. So that's one example I just wanted to show you. Very simple. I want to reiterate the fact that it's simple. Let's now look at another example, which I recorded as well. And this one, I'm going to show you a different, basically, email example that I set up for this specific project I'm working on. All I wanted to do was to be able to have everything but the message. So it's the same thing, except we're not doing the send. We're just doing email compose. So I'm going to go back to messaging and select compose email as opposed to Gmail send. So this way, it's going to actually pull up the interface, allow me to enter whatever message you want to enter, and then send it on its way. So the setup is similar to the other example, where we just go add a block for compose email, and I basically indicate the email, my email that I'm going to be sending it to. I'm putting in the subject. Okay, note to self, good. And then the message itself is nothing. And then we connect the two blocks right there, and then add it to the desktop by clicking on the flow beginning first box. Then we can enter some kind of title, and then we add the shortcut to the home screen. That's the only thing. Leave all the other options the way they are. And we'll change the icon on the flow to be something different. Pencil looks good. Let's do the pencil. And then click OK. And then click Add to Home Screen. And so once we do that, we're basically done. So you can see it's a very similar approach to what we did in the previous example. It's basically the same thing. It's just a different option. Instead of sending email, it just creates an email. And so then put in a little bit more information here for the block, for the flow, I should say. And description. Okay. And then we save it. Click on save. And the idea with this particular automation here is I want to create an interface where I can put in a little email after I send it, but I want to enter the message. Okay. But I need it to be as simple as possible. In other words, and the subject will always be the same, because tomorrow or whenever I do the next video, the final video, you'll see why. But the idea being that if the subject is the same, that's very easy then for the next automation to take care of it. But here we go. Here it is. If I click on it, then it's going to go ahead and give me the interface, and then I can record the message and then send the message. The reason I wanted to do it this way is because when I run this automation by just tapping one time on the phone, it already pre-fills all the fields except for the body itself. And then all I have to do is just simply click, because I get the keyboard interface immediately once it comes up for the composed message. I can just click on the microphone and I can verbally record whatever I want to record, and that becomes the content of the message. and then just click on send, and it's on its way. Instead of me going into Gmail and clicking on compose, and then it comes up, and then I have to put in my email address, and then I have to put in the obviously whatever I'm going to record the content itself to be. I need to put some kind of subject. All of this takes time and effort. Okay, and it needs to be done. If I do a lot of these things every single time, it needs to be done. With this approach, using this, even though it looks like it's not much, it's amazing how much time you can potentially save if you think about it, because you're really tapping on the phone one time on this icon, number one, and then it comes up with the interface ready for you to record your message. So you click on the microphone icon, which is tap number two. Okay, you record whatever you're going to record, and then you click on send, which is tap number three. So you basically substitute probably at least, I would say, I don't know. Even if you're recording using voice, you still need to put in your email address and all in the subject, all of that. So my guess is you're probably easily substituting 40, 50 taps because you keep hitting the keys with just three. Now, how much time does it save? I don't know. I have to try it and see how much time it would save. But I can guarantee you, I can do three taps much faster than I can do 50 taps. And if I have some long-winded subject line, for example, or something that requires a lot of typing, or if I wanted to type the message using keyboard, it would take forever compared to using this approach. So that's why I recommend using this, and that's what I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to create specific content with specific subject line using my voice whenever I'm out and about. And then, of course, it's going to automatically send it to my email address. So I'll have all these emails. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about how to automate all of this and integrate it into a single email as the end result. The idea is we go out there, we generate these ideas, these short messages, and then we combine them together in a very fruitful form. And it's proper English, spelling is correct, and very usable and useful this way. That's the end of this video. And try Automate. It's free on Google Play Store. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll leave the links to my first video there as well. And also, once I get the final video recorded, it'll also be down in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Oleg.